I guess it's working. Hello, we're live. Let me know if you can hear me. How you doing, Jeff? And Doug is here in the chat. It's Sunday, and the shop is empty, except for except for me. So it's this is the holiday weekend, and it's been super busy. Um, and I thought I'd get ahead of things because I noticed when I rush, things tend to not go as well as I'd like. But if you're in the chat here, let me know if you can hear me. Hopefully this is working. I've never used this device for a live stream before. Ermal, when's the next private stock coming? Well, we are going to do another private stock event. There's a bunch of private stock on right now that you could see, but it's not sort of like, how do I put it? It's not sort of typical for what we normally do for private stock. We tried to do something, we tried to go a little harder for the holidays because there's roughly 10 times the amount of stuff that we are shipping out every day than we normally do. So we wanted to get more leather into more people's hands. So we did, we used to call it small batch, where we would make, 5 of the same thing. So for example, I actually pulled a couple things to highlight. This is a garnet shell cordovan reverse interior fat Herbie that we made 5 of. Normally we would just make 1 for private stock. So to answer your question, we are working on private stock probably in the next 2 weeks. This week is going to be focused on getting, hundreds and hundreds of wallets and leather goods sent out just from the holiday here. And then we're going to have the team switch over to making new special treats, new private stock stuff. Hopefully more similar to things that you haven't seen before. On that note, I did pull out some other things that I wanted to highlight that I don't even know if they're sold out right now. But there's a couple things in the private stock right now that are a little bit more like small batch that I wanted to highlight. So this is the vertical bugs with reverse blue shell. And then the inside, it has the English tan Dublin. It seems like people are really digging the green shell with the rust thread on the outside with the English tan Dublin on the inside. Everything we've done in that seems to sell it very quickly. So we're very keyed in on what people are picking up, and we try to do more things for what people like. So it seems like people are really digging green and English tan right now. So we're going to try to do more of that. But I just, I haven't really, it's kind of like a weird holiday for me because for us every year, this is when most of our business happens, or like a good amount. Like I said, it's like 10 times what we normally do every day. So I've been working every day. And you shouldn't feel so sad for me because my wife works at a hospital and she's also working. So it's not like I'd probably just be home chilling with my kid. Although I did find we found some childcare for her over the last 4 days or 3 days. So working really hard to just get as much stuff out as fast as possible for you guys and to do it the right way. So like I said earlier, I noticed if we got to rush and get things done really fast, we can miss something or make a mistake. So I'm trying my best to, just do a better job, like slowly. And so more time is helpful with that. So I was thinking about it and how it doesn't bother me to do this. I know a lot of people would be kind of bummed out about working on a holiday weekend, but I'm having so much fun. Like just looking at for example, this epic splatter reverse blue. I'm just so lucky that that I get to see all this awesome leather, and then even more lucky that people want to support it. So just so thankful for you guys in the chat and everybody that's picked up something from our current sale going on right now. Just feeling really fortunate. And even more than that is we just have a great team of people here at Ashland. Gave them a holiday off, and just really appreciative of their skill and all the stuff that people here in the shop do. These are some of the best people that you could find. And it's not hard to find people that necessarily want to do the hard work and make stuff. So feeling very fortunate for the team here too. And my business partner, Dan, he was here yesterday cutting, made to order stuff. There's a lot of great people involved that don't show up on the camera here that you should know about. So just very thankful for you guys and for my team and the great people at the tannery making this awesome leather. I'm just feeling really thankful and gonna cry if I keep talking about it. All right, people in the chat here. Oh my god, so thankful that you're here. I'm glad you can hear me too. Uh, oh, a new name in the chat here. Jays. So glad that you love your Cordovan Fox. That's awesome. Yeah, Ermal, not a lot to choose from private stock. That is super, super crazy, but we're working on that for you. Hi, Jaron. Good afternoon. Todd Ledford with the question. Phil, does mirror glaze increase shell shine? Does it have negative effect on new shell? Well, if you're buying something from me, we already polished the leather. So here's another thing. Another thing I'll shill that I just pulled a few things that I wanted to feature that because normally I do a video for all the private stock stuff, and I just been busy trying to get it made and put it out there in the world. I finally have a chance to catch my breath here because there's nothing to ship today. There's no UPS or post office closed, so a little bit of extra time to chat with you today. This is a cigar shell cordovan Johnny the Fox with the brown cypress interior. I really wanted to focus on this one for a second because it's beautiful. But you'll also notice that the shell, and actually we haven't even polished this one yet. We'll do even more work to this. But you can see even straight from the tannery, maybe I can angle a little better. It's super shiny to start. And then we apply a little bit of Saphir Cordovan cream in addition to what Horween has done. They apply a little bit of Venetian cream that's been cut with some water to shine it. Now, I believe you're referencing a polish called mirror, like a mirror glaze polish that I think Saphir also makes. I've seen people have great results with that, but you should know that it's pretty great from out of the box from us. So the concern that I have when you have a question like that is oftentimes I notice people make a tremendous mistake when they apply too much polish to the leather. This leather will absorb anything you put on it, including water, polishes, oils. And the more stuff you put on it that won't evaporate away, the more it starts to look like that stuff. So in the case of Saphir Cordovan cream, for example, or if you're using the Mirror Glaze product, if you put too much of it, that product sits up onto the surface of the leather and it starts to look more like polish and it starts to look a little bit hazy. So usually the best thing to do is almost do nothing. I would say if you've been wearing it for over 6 months and it's starting to have some scratches that you'd like to fill in, that might be a good time to apply a very small amount of a product like Saphir Cordovan cream, Venetian cream, any neutral color polish that you might have. That's when I suggest it. But I kind of don't suggest putting, for me, like I just wear the stuff and I brush it. My shell boots, for example, I just put a little bit of water on there and I brush the crap out of them. And that tends to give me a really good result. So less is more when it comes to polishing the cordovan in my experience. And again, that's because the leather's just been tanned and polished really well to begin with. You're probably not going to have to do much more. Jeff D was going to ask what percentage of your annual business occurs in Q4. So Q4, we don't really like, that's a good question, Jeff. I could give you like smaller scale stuff because I look at numbers. I look at numbers more like monthly and I don't really look at them. Basically just to make sure, I can pay my people. We just, for example, we just added a new 401k for all the people that work here. Can we offer them extra vacation days, holidays? We do paid lunches. I look at these numbers to make sure that we can keep making good products. So I don't really look at quarters, and we don't have any investors to impress or to keep getting their money from. It's just me and my business partner, and I'm more interested in making cool stuff that's going to last forever than the actual bottom line or even the top line of sales. Having said that, it's very relevant because we have to, I want to treat our people right and I want to buy the best materials. You need money to do that. November, which basically like the 2 weeks in November, that we're existing in the moment, those 2 weeks are almost like a whole month of sales that we normally do, maybe a little bit more. So maybe like 2 weeks now is really like 6 weeks. But day to day on like Black Friday, for example, it was 10 times what we normally do in a day. But really, we're pretty consistent throughout the year, especially with everything we do. Really, it's pretty consistent, uh, like from month to month. And then we do see the uptick with the holiday buying, especially when we're doing promos. And people in the chat here, names are very familiar. I've seen you guys um, throughout the years, and you'll notice that we haven't done any sales this year except for right now. And there's a reason for that. And again, it's about buying the best stuff, paying for the people uh, to do a good job. And also, it was a little scary for me to put some of the cordovan stuff on sale right now because we're not able to get as much shell from the tannery as we use in a day. So I don't know if I want to ring an alarm bell about a cordovan shortage, but there is not as much cordovan going through the tannery right now that they would like and that I would like and their other customers would like. So putting shell on sale right now is like really scary for me, but I thought it was appropriate to do because I want people to experience the leather. And again, our goal, our whole mission is to just share leather with the world. Um, so given a little bit of a deal on some of the cordovan stuff, I thought was a good idea. And it might come back to bite me in the butt. But cordovan prices just went up. It's becoming harder and harder to get the shell. Um, so there is that. Having said that, basically when I talk about these things, we collect the leather, so we'll buy more than we need, and the colors that we stock all the time, those are the colors we're actually running out of. So we're talking about black, color 8, and especially natural shell cordovan. We will run out of soon. And I'm looking over at my bins right now. I see 2 natural shell with reverse interior foxes. Those are probably the last 2 for a bit. Although I think we just got a couple shells in late, like on Wednesday last week. So maybe a couple more of those eventually. There's maybe 10 100% color 8 shell foxes. There's no all reverse color 8. I see 1 black shell with reverse interior. So we're really low on cordovan stuff. So it's not trying to like twist your arm to buy something, but if you had your eye on a cordovan wallet, I would say now is a good time to do it because it's on sale, most of the colors, and we're not going to have it in a little bit. And it's kind of a bummer because a lot of our business is the cordovan. So it's going to be a little bit slow I'm expecting for at least the next year is my guess. That's at least what we're planning for. So I went back up. Color 8 black natural, we're very low on. We collect the rare shell colors, and we have more of those because we don't offer those as a normal stock. So you will see rare colors, funky textures, marbled, inverted, things like that. You'll see that come out from us frequently through private stock. We're so low on natural, for example, that we're considering switching out our standard color of natural to amaretto, which is similar, or maybe we'll switch it to whiskey because we happen to have more of those than we do natural. Just give you a little inside scoop there. Beefet, what's up with the Ashland hat? Oh, what's up, Ash hats? I'm actually wearing an Ashland hat. I thought you were talking about this. We did some cordovan hats too. I think there's like 1 or 2 of the green ones left, and I have a bunch of black shell cordovan hats with like the patch. We cut a hole into the brim, and then we sandwich 2 pieces of cordovan into the brim and stitch them in there, and then embroider the cordovan logo over the top of the hat. And I think they turned out really cool. They're pretty casual hats. So some people aren't into casual hats, but I like it a lot. And I think there's like 1 or 2 of these left. We didn't make a whole lot of these. And people that come to us for hats, but honestly, like I wanted it. So I got it, and I kind of like this old school like foam hat vibe. Hey, Doug Castellon. I'm going to be very careful to not show your address here. I have your I have the wallet you sent back, Doug, that is damaged. And I was wondering if you wanted to go over it together on camera. I was going to call you, but it's been the holiday and I didn't want to. I was going to call you tomorrow. But if you want, we could do it live right now. Name says, I got a wallet and it came scuffed, bent, and scratched. Kind of disappointed. I think it should have been an irregular. Yeah, if it's scuffed, bent, and damaged, that's not okay. It shouldn't come like that. So if you want to send us an email, info at Ashland Leather, we'll send you a replacement. Uh, especially if it came that way. I'm surprised to hear that, but that should not happen. Quan, what's up? Todd Ledford, Phil, thanks, Phil. New number 4 Frank custom on the way. Didn't want to do anything to it without hearing from you and raw natural bugs. Thanks for your advice. Well, color 4, I don't know what your question is there, Todd, but if you're asking me about colors, color 4 shell cordovan is my second favorite shell cordovan color. I really like that it is like a medium brown. I actually have a color 4 piece here. Another thing I wanted to plug. So this is the reverse on top of color 4 Capone, and it's got reverse on the inside. It's reverse everywhere. I think this was the one I used for the photos on the site right now. Color 4 that you can see on the bottom here is a great brown, and I like that it's different than color 8, which is much more of like a darker burgundy shade. The color 4 is my second favorite because it's a medium brown and it has some reddish undertones. I find it to be very beautiful. So if you want a color, I would say color 4 is badass. And I also think if you're asking about raw natural, I think this one's a little bit more niche, but I really, 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 really like raw natural for 2 reasons. I like that it's a light color and you get to experience the patina process. Some people are a little bit confused by the raw natural when they see it at first, but once they have worn it for a month, you can really start to see this transformation process of the leather polishing in your pocket by itself. So it becomes darker, it becomes shinier, which is a really cool experience to have. And it's unique to the raw natural shell cordovan. You can get a similar effect on the raw denim that we have some wallets up on right now. But that color does not happen. The transformation doesn't happen as dramatically on the denim. So I'd say if you want patina, raw natural is impossible to beat. If you like a nice color, I think color 4 is great. And then, if you wanted to figure out some details, Todd, we could still chat about that too. But I think you kind of can't go wrong with either of those. But I would push you to think about patina or like a dramatic patina or not. Andy, what's up, Andy? Been wanting a black with brown interior Apple Watch band. What leathers do you recommend? So we do mostly, like I'm wearing an Apple Watch band right now. Most of our straps are single layer watch straps like this one. So it's just one piece of cordovan in this example, and this is as thick as we can get it for the Apple Watch bands. So we try to pick the thickest pieces of cordovan and then make them into these watch bands. We've also done 2-layer straps before. And what I would suggest, if you want cordovan, I would do black cordovan on the outside, on the top showing side. And then you could do something like the brown cypress on the inside. If you wanted it super thick, what might be really cool, it might be too thick. You could do like a natural Chrome Excel 6-ounce leather for the underside of the strap, and that would be really comfortable, but that's a little bit lighter of a brown. It's not like a dark brown. But I'm a little confused just because you said the interior of the Apple Watch band. I'm assuming that's what you mean. I think it would be really comfortable to have Chrome Excel touching your wrist, the grain side, and then the cordovan on the outside would be a really cool looking strap. And then I would do sort of like a contrasting, like brown color stitch or like a rust color thread. I think that would look great. Ben D, always enjoyed doing these. Hope as well personally. Yeah, everything's great, man. Just super busy, but good. It's almost good that there's no post office or UPS today, just so I can take a time to relax and chat with you guys. I'll tell you this. There's a game that's been relaxing me in the evening called City Skylines 2. They just released the second one, I think. And I've been having a ton of fun just like building a city and managing the traffic patterns at night. It's been somehow relaxing. I don't I don't know why it works, but it certainly relaxes me. Ben says, any new shell or one-off other belt runs in the works? I was talking about that with Dan yesterday. We do want to do another Cordovan belt run, and I would like to do it in color 8, but we are kind of low on color 8 shells. So we kind of put that on hold for the moment. We saw people were interested in the raw denim belts, but it wasn't even close to the color 4 or the natural shell belts. People weren't as interested in the blue. So I wanted to try a classic color, something that might match footwear a little bit more appropriately. But it's hard to say when we're going to do that. And when we do it, we'll make one. I'll take some photos and then we'll do a pre-order on it because the sizing on the shell belts can be pretty tricky. Jeff D says, Phil, do you guys ever make baseballs with non-Cordovan leather? Yeah. If you want to stand here for a sec. I said stand there, but you're probably sitting. Jeff D has a great question. This is a pre-order. I was trying to not spoil their name here. For John W. This is a baseball that is not Cordovan, and it's very, very cool. So it's English tan and English tan Dublin and the Royal Blue Cypress. I think turned out great. I'm looking at this in the camera right now, and in person it's not as light as it's showing. In person it's slightly darker. But yes, we have done them before. They take a good amount of time for us to produce, to do the hand stitching on the baseballs, and the cost involved to hand stitch a ball. We felt like kind of like the Cordovan was the only material that we could use that would really justify the price. But we could do Chrome XL, we could do Dublin, of course. We just haven't, but we probably should. And BFED, is this a 316? Yes, it is. There's a little 316 tag right there. I really like this. I think it's a shirt. But yeah, I really like it. I'll demo it for you. I really like this shirt thing. It's wearing in my elbows nicely. I wear this a lot. And I like how the 316 stuff is a little bit softer. I don't know, it's wearing it great. But yeah, this is extra large 316. I recommend it. I like their jeans, like their pants too. We did I'll plug the podcast. We did an interview with the founders of 316 on the Full Grain podcast. You should check it out if you haven't checked it out. Full Grain podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I listen on Spotify. Speaking of podcasts, the most recent podcast we did with Rose Anvil was really, it got a lot of response, and so much so that on Black Friday, I had several people walk in the door here. Usually we try to do appointments when people come in, but we had just people walking in off the street, wanted to check out the wallets. And I think all of them were talking about Rose Anvil with me. So it's just really, really wild how popular his YouTube channel has become. And if you want to hear him talk, again, check out Full Grain Podcast. I'm pretty proud of the podcast, and it kind of stinks that I haven't done as much content there as I could, but it's the same reason I'm out here doing the live streams. It's a significant effort to do a podcast, and I'm just, especially with the holidays here, just run out of time. But we will start recording again, maybe even this week. Nick and I will be doing some podcasts. LA asks, how long does it take to receive a custom ordered wallet? Well, in normal times, when it's not the holidays. It takes us, if we have the leather, it takes us about 4 weeks to craft them. And I think right now we're probably looking more like 6 weeks. And then it depends on where you live, but you might expect to see that wallet in about 7 weeks currently. When things start to slow back down, figure last couple of weeks of the year or in January, you're probably looking more close to 4 weeks. But it depends on how many people are in the queue for made to order. Bendy, it seems like we're beyond COVID related supply chain issues regarding to Shell. Any idea what's caught? Ben, that's a really good question. So I don't, and they don't know the answer. The only people I have contact with are Skip and Nick Horween from Horween Leather Company. And basically, they can't get enough horse hides in the door. So I don't know if this is, I don't think it's a COVID thing, but it might be. There's always like these economic things where, the price of food goes up, for example, which I think happened because of the war in Ukraine. I guess they couldn't get fertilizer from that region and then have crops grow in other parts of the world. So I think the supply of feed, the price of it has gone up and the supply has gone down. And then they find alternatives. And I don't know, I don't know what's going on, but there's something in that chain of events where horse hides just aren't coming to Horween at the speed that they'd like, or even the size that they'd like. I think some of the hides they get are just too small to even get a good shell out of. So I don't know. I don't know what that is or why that is. I just know that they're aware of it and they're working on it. They have a hide broker and a hide buyer. Like they have a team of people that just work on buying hides. So they're working on it, but they don't even know what's going on. Can I explain what Dover is? Honestly, I'm not super familiar with Dover. What I can tell you is that it is a chrome tan leather. I believe it might be, I won't even say it. I was going to say it might be combination tanned. I don't know. But I think it's a chrome tan leather. It's a little bit softer and it can be finished in several different ways. It's kind of got this, the way that I'm familiar with it is it kind of has this silky feel and chalky, kind of hazy appearance with a slight bit of burst to it. And you can find that leather on several New Balance sneakers. But other than that, I've been out of the tannery. I used to work there, and that was a new product when I was leaving. And I think been making more of it since. So I haven't had my hands on Dover as much as many other leathers. That's kind of the best I can do. Oh, Jeff D's got a black shell cordovan hat. That's awesome. That's the color I have too. Oh, Doug, yeah, we'll go over your wallet in a second here. Let me try to skim through the chat. Floyd says, "Where can I get the Ashland hat?" How you doing, Floyd? If you go on the private stock page, you might have to scroll down a bit, but the hats are up on the private stock page unless they're sold out. But there should be some left. Andre says, "My girlfriend got me a black shell hat too and a brown cypress Tony the ant. I love them." That's awesome, man. It's good to see a new name here. Thanks so much, Andres. You know what? Sidetracking myself here. I noticed when I was creating the live stream that we're almost at 10,000 subs, which is wild. I don't really keep an eye on that, but in the past, we've done these sort of milestone events with commemorative key fobs. And I was thinking we should do a 10,000 subs key fob. So when that happens, we'll do it, which might even happen today. Get 10 people to, I think it was like 9,990. If you guys get 10 people to sub, we'll do a key fob thing. And I think the way we did it in the past was I basically charged like a nominal fee. I think it was like $5, and we would make a shell. Whoa, there's ads happening here. Skip ads. Ad skipped. What we did in the past, I think for 5,000 subs is we made like 50 fobs and charged $5 for them. And it was just a way to have a little commemorative thing, but we'll probably do something similar for the 10,000. I haven't thought about it yet. Usually I do like a custom piece of art and then make a stamping tool and stamp it on the thing. Maybe we'll do a key fob loop this time and do like 10,000 subs November 2023. It might be kind of cool. Unless you guys had other ideas, we could do whatever. Did we get 10K? Cool. The dog wallet. Oh, that's right. Your dog ate this wallet. Okay, let's just skip ahead to Doug here. Okay. I'll try not to dox him. There we go. Okay. Yeah. This is a bummer, Doug. Okay. Doug sent me back his wallet because his dog got a hold of this beautiful piece. And it's it's such a tragedy. This is not an inexpensive piece. This is a tall Tony the Ant in tumbled natural shell cordovan, and it has the skip stitch. So we intentionally stitch it lower there. And then it's got like an alternating interior with the reverse on tumbled natural. And it's my understanding that Doug's dog took a nice bite out of crime. I'm really sad to tell you, Doug, that there's really nothing I can do. I mean, what I could do, the best that I could do, which is not optimal, is to trim down these threads and back tack them a little bit, give them a little back stitch. So at least it's not hanging off and crazy. I mean, maybe we could, I think it'd be kind of cool to leave the dog thing in there, but we could cut that out maybe. And here's my thought. If we make it so these threads aren't crazy and dangling and just secure this piece so it won't come undone, I think this will be a usable wallet with a great story. And that's my advice for you, Doug. And it's real. I mean, it's pretty sad, but it's also kind of funny because you could pull this out and somebody be like, "Did you take a bite out of your wallet?" But now you just have this fun story about your dog. You take your dog with you everywhere you go. That's sort of the bad news there, Doug. And it's a real shame because this is such a like awesome tumble natural shell. And Doug, you forgot to send money. Come on, man. All right, so you'll give us free reign to try to clean it up. All right, I will do that, Doug. Yeah, sorry to give you the bad news. I wanted to wait until after the holidays to not bother you with bad news, but I will do that for you, Doug. We'll take care of it. LA says, "What's my favorite marbled shell cordovan?" Man, it's sort of evolved throughout the years because originally I think we were the first people to do marbled shells, and the first colors that existed were marbled black and marbled color 8. And we found some success with that. And we encourage the tannery to experiment and try new things. And they do it on their own too. So it's not necessarily directed by us. But I think originally my favorite was the marbled black. And I really liked when it had this stark contrast from the black shell and then immediately turned to like an orange, the part that had been scraped away and then sort of faded into green. I really liked that high contrast of the black, especially on the black marbled. And today, honestly, I think I like the marbled blue. It's subtle. It's kind of similar to the marble black, but of course, it has a little bit more blue to it. So I think marble blue is my pick today. Ben D says, "Love your color 8 horsebuck belt. Patina is developing quickly, and it's absurdly high quality." That's great to hear, Ben. Those were really tough for us to make because I wish I had an example here. The leather that those belts were made from are tanned in the pits alongside the shell cordovan. So if you imagine, how do I describe this? There's a horse hide, and it looks like me. All right. And they crop the horse hide at the waist because they want the shells that are back here. So they don't see where the shells are until they start to work with it. So as a result, you end up with this byproduct, which is it's called a horse butt strip. And the shapes are crazy. The weights are varied. And sometimes they're really narrow. So it was really hard for us to get those belts. And then on top of that, it was finished just like Color 8 shell cordovan. So you get that really cool, what's the term I use for it? It's like get this really cool figuring in it. So sometimes you get that kind of wiry look of lights and darks, and it's got this really natural pattern. Very much looks like it was created by nature. And then some of them are super, super thick. So the reason it's aging great is because that is pit tanned with the cordovan. Most veg tan tends to age really nicely. And on top of that, super, super thick, maybe even too thick for some of those belts. But I'm glad you like it. That was a special piece, and I don't know if we're going to be able to do that again. So I'm glad that you like it, and I'd be really curious to see how it's wearing in. Todd says Matt is finalizing a raw cell bugs custom order for me. I can't decide on stitching color recommendations. What look best after a year or two of patina? Well, I mean, we just saw Doug's wallet with that cream color stitching. That would give a nice match to it. And then as that wallet ages, you'll have this sort of reference point because the leather color will change, but the thread color should not change. So you have this reference to start where they're sort of matching. And then as it goes, you can start to see a little bit more contrast. So I think a matching cream color stitching might be cool. If you wanted to get funky, we have this table here. It seems like people really like this orange hand stitching, and it's really cool. I don't know if it's great for natural, but this tends to be our most popular hand stitching color. The results are great. I don't know what it is, but this really, really works, especially with like cigar or blue shells. Something about this orange looks great. I would say for natural, the other choice other than matching might be this blue. I would consider that if I was you. D2 Rough Falco, another new name. Oh my God. You got a Fat Herbie from 2018. The edges did not get done. How much will it cost to get them done? We'll do that for free, man. D2 Rough, if you're still there, send me an email. I'm Phil. And my email is phil@ashlandleather.com. And I'll send you return instructions. Just send it back to us, and we will fix it up, polish up the edges. That's something that we do for free anyways. So part of the deal that we make when we sell you a wallet is that we're guaranteeing it. It's got to last forever and it's got to not break. And if the edges are not done, that doesn't sound right. Either way, like it'd be fun for us to polish it up and make a wallet that's 5 years old look great. So everybody else that's picked up a wallet, if you ever have stitching come undone, if you have leather that rips that wasn't because your dog ate it, we will fix that for free. You also have a tumble verdigris long wallet the same way. Yeah, we can do that. That tumble, I remember that wallet. It was awesome. And the edges are not finished. I'm surprised to hear that, but either way, I'll fix it up for you. King of the Cluj. I hope I pronounced the name right. Are you guys planning on making watch leather straps with quick release spring bars? We should do that. I get asked that every other month or so. And now that we've become a little bit better known for watch straps, we should do that. It will require us to retool, which is very expensive because there's so many different sizes of lug widths as well as lengths for the straps. It's a pretty expensive endeavor, but we should do that. I don't know when I'll do that, but I would like to. Quick release is just so much better. Sherman Tan, what's up, man? Nice to be able to catch you on a live stream. Do you reckon a 12-ounce Chrome XL online is a nice weight for a moccasin? That's funny that you said that, Sherman, because in the most recent podcast episode, I was talking to Weston from Roseanneville about leather thickness. And I think there is such a thing as too thick. Now, unlined moccasins, Chrome XL, 12 ounce, I could see that working. Personally, the boat shoes I've had and unlined stuff I've had that are closer to 6 or 7 ounce, I find to be more comfortable. I haven't worn a 12 ounce one, but when I look at my experience, I don't see how you could get better than 6 to 7 ounce. So I would say that might be too thick, but I don't know. Just my guess. Because we were talking in this this podcast. Check out Full Grain Podcast if you haven't already. in this podcast with Weston from Rose Anvil, I mentioned that I came across an ad on Facebook, of all places, from a brand called JK Boots, and they were bragging about how they used like this super crazy heavy bison leather. And I pointed that out to Weston, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's." I don't know if he said these exact words. He's like, "Yeah, it's better because it's 12 ounce or 15 ounce or whatever it was." And I think there's something there. I think it can be too thick, and there is, in my experience, there is not a quality difference in terms of durability that relates to how thick the leather is. It's much more about how the fibers of that skin were bound together. So you can make a really, really wimpy 15 ounce thick, something this thick. We could tan that, or the tannery could make that for you with really weakly bounded fibers that just would tear like a piece of paper. Or they could do what we do, like on the inside of this amaretto shell cordovan in Johnny the Fox with English Tan Dublin interior, now on sale on the private stock page. It's another thing I wanted to highlight. The other thing you could do is like this. We have all those layers of leather. If these were thick, the wallet would suck. It would just be way too thick. So what we do is use a super well tanned piece of leather. In this case, it's done by Horween. So the fibers are all bound together and it's really, really dense. It has a lot of fill inside of those fibers. And it's very strong. So low stretch, very strong. You can make a thin leather that is stronger than a thick leather. So the bottom line is the thickness is nearly irrelevant. What is more relevant is how it was tanned. But also, while we're on it, these foxes that I think we still have, we might not. I don't know. I just pulled stuff out that I thought would be cool to look at. Johnny the Fox here in my favorite shell color. This is the Amaretto with the English tan interior. It's a good way to get a piece of shell without spending money for the shell cordovan price for the interiors. And personally, I prefer a non-shell interior or a reverse cordovan interior. So for me, like this is the Johnny the Fox that I would pick because it's my favorite shell color. But also it's thinner because we're not using that thicker shell cordovan for the inside. So if you're looking for a Johnny the Fox, it's on sale too. I think maybe it's not. Maybe that's why there might be a couple left. This for me, this is the Johnny the Fox. This and that brown of the cigar. These are the two that I like, and that's non-shell on the inside. So hopefully that was a crazy long way to answer your question, Sherman. Oh, Chinese mass production, the Frankenstein wallet. Yeah, Miranda here in the shop made all the Halloween themed wallets this year. And those two Frankensteins were out of the park cool. And all credit to Miranda. I'll tell you what happened. The story is every year at Halloween, we try to do something a little bit different that's on theme. And usually I just let the team go wild. This year I said, I want it on the nose. Like I liked the shining wallets we did last year, but I think they were a little cerebral, like a little out there. Like for me, it was personally satisfying to see the wallets that were themed like The Shining or inspired by the movie The Shining. But this year I said, I want you to make 3 or 4 things that are straight up Halloween. And I said, I'm talking about witches. I'm talking about pumpkins. I want it to be straight up. And that was the only direction I gave. And I said, just have fun with it. And Miranda came up with the eyeball, the Frankensteins. What was the other one we did? Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot. I'm the worst. I'll think about it. But incredible. Oh, the cat. People like the cat the most. I can't believe I forgot about that cat. Thank you, Jesse. Yeah, people like the cat the most. So great team. Miranda did beautiful work. I agree. Name says, are you guys working on any more Vic Snap wallets? To my knowledge, no, but that's just currently that we can make that whenever. And something that I've seen, if you're considering one, you might want to consider doing made to order and having us put a quick access card slot on the back. It seems like people have been interested in that. So we can make a Vic Snap wallet for you. The Olympic Marmot is here. Oh my God, Ashland live stream. We used to do these more frequently, and I suck. I just haven't been able to make them. So I love this. Is like my favorite thing to do is just chatting with you guys. And now that we got 10K subs, I have to plan. As soon as I close this, I'm gonna call my designer artist friend to have him make something special for the art to stamp on a 10K subs item. I'm kind of thinking key fob loop would be really special. Ben D's loving the Epic Splatter Reverse Cigar Fat Herbie. Any other colors that look good in Epic Reverse Splatter? It depends. Like, that's a tough one, Ben, because every piece of shell is different, and then not all of them have splatter. So those are things that we just come across and we hold off to the side to go, this looks great. In fact, we have a bin downstairs that says funky shells. Just like anything that we think is unique, we will pull it out and put it in there. I think the Epic Splatter, we looked at it earlier. Let me shill my own products again. I think this Epic Splatter blue looks cool. Very, very cool. There's also the Splatter ultraviolet stuff. It's all really neat. But I'd say the blue is my favorite right now. And it really depends on the piece. So sometimes it's not as crazy. LA, how much does it cost for a custom order Fat Herbie wallet on Shell Cordovan? That's a really good price. So a really good question, and I will tell you the price. So for example, if you wanted this Fat Herbie, this is color, or this is garnet with reverse interior. But let's say you wanted to modify it. So basically, rare color Shell Cordovan wallet, Fat Herbie. We charge 10% for the custom fee, so it'd be $37.50, and that allows you to modify everything. So you could say, "Hey, look, I want garnet on top of natural, and I want this side of the wallet to be blue thread, and I want this side to be cream." And then on the inside, I want this piece reverse and that side to be tumbled natural. And I don't want any stamps. That $37.50 pays for that. And then it takes us right now about 6 weeks to make the stuff. So it's a 10% custom fee, and it depends on the base price of the wallet. For example, here's a small zip. There's a special machine right there. That's the only machine in this building that can make this wallet. And we've gone back and perfected how we make them. They were good before. They were great before. That they're even better now. So for example, this wallet in English Tan Dublin is base price, I think it's $185. And if you wanted to customize this, which is a little bit more limited in terms of customization, but it'd be $18.50 to customize one of these. And again, 6 weeks of a wait time to get it made. So hopefully that is a little bit clear. We try to not make it prohibitive to customize stuff, but it is a lot more costly for us to make a one of one. It's a lot easier to make a batch of things. And when I say easier, less time consuming. So it's like we lose money on made to order, which is why I don't advertise it. Good question, LA. Shell with a brown cypress would be legit to have. Both leathers smell really amazing. That's actually this, right? Maybe we were just talking about this. This is cigar Shell Cordovan with a brown cypress on the inside. It's beautiful. These turned out great. This is one of my favorite wallets that's up on the site right now. This and that amaretto. What else did I not show off? Oh, there's one more thing. This is discounted more than I've ever discounted any shell piece. The black Shell Cordovan reverse interior Tonys, I think, are like 26% off. If you haven't experienced Tony the Ant, or if you want to check out Cordovan piece for the first time, this might be a good way. It's still expensive, I get it, but again, we wanted to have a way to get the leather into more people's hands. Oh, the Maze, Doug, that was from a year ago. Yeah, I like the typewriter one too. Do I still have Passion Purple Dover? I think we do, Eric. Name says, was everything that dropped this past week the big drop you were talking about, or is there still more on the way? This is the big drop for the holiday sales and stuff. We are working on another batch of private stock things that are more similar to what we've done historically. So more one of ones, more rare shells, more funky combinations. But they're not. Most of them aren't even made right now. So that's our goal for the next week or so. To get them made, get them finished. Let me take some photos, and then we'll do an event. So the next time we do a private stock event, I will do the historical Phil thing of take all the photos, make a video for YouTube of those as a preview. So the day before, I'll put out that video, and then we'll do an event for the next day. Hey, at this time, this is when everything's dropping. Do you see it snowing outside? Can you believe that? It's snowing here in Chicago. It's crazy. But yeah, Eric, we have Passion Purple still. I believe. I could be mistaken. I'm pretty sure we have more of that. Ben D, what causes the epic splatter versus just the normal reverse? Is it something with the dye bleeding through, or is it literally somebody at the tannery splatting dye on the back? That's a really good question, Ben. I'll describe how it works. It's not intentional, is the answer. But the way that the cordovan receives color and stain is through a machine called a brush finish machine. So it's a big brush roller that sits in a pan full of dye. And this is overly simplified. That brush picks up the dye, it spins around, and then you feed a piece of leather through it, and it brushes that color onto the surface. There's something underneath all that is like a conveyor belt. It's called a bolster that is like conveying the leather through the machine. And it's actually not good to have that dye splatter on the back. There's something that wipes off the dye from the bolster and from it's called a feed roller. And if that wiper is not set right, you end up with stains on the bolster. So when you feed a piece of shell through the brush and the bolster's not cleaned, you end up with that splatter on the backside. Hopefully that makes sense. It would be a lot easier to take a video of that, but it is not intentional, and it's probably not good. But on a shoe, like, most people don't see that. Sometimes we'll actually tell them, like, hey, for our run of blue, take off the wiper and make it as crazy as possible. So we'll actually tell them to do that, but it's not something that they're physically doing. It's just something they're omitting, I guess. Name says we should add a page for custom orders with specification lists. We had a customer come in on Friday saying the same thing. There's a couple challenges with the custom stuff. Like, number one, we want it to be like a nice thing to do for people that are really into it and that want something special, because we can do it, but it is a bit expensive for us to make a special piece for one person as opposed to our normal business, which is to make a batch of stuff. The other problem is every piece of cordovan is different. So if we were going to do just Dublin and Cypress and Chrome Excel wallets, we could easily have a menu that you could order off of. But because the shell is so unique from piece to piece, it's really, really hard to show you exactly what your wallet's going to look like, because each piece of the epic splatter is different. Each marbled shell is different. And then even that, let's say I sent you a photo of a marbled shell. You might like one little section on it said, I want this little piece of that marbled shell for my wallet. The problem is it might be too thick, or maybe it's too thin, or maybe there's some other imperfection, or maybe the shape of the shell is not appropriate to cut your pattern right there. So even if I had a menu, I wouldn't be able to satisfy that menu for most cases. So it would be kind of pointless to make a custom menu that just said, Dublin, Cypress, black and color 8-shell cordovan. But that's what the menu would look like, and then we could have the list of all the thread colors. I mean, maybe we do that, but I don't think that that's what you want. I think you want a very unique treasure. So usually the best way to do it is to send us a photo of something that you like. So say, for example, you could say, hey, I saw that Vertical Bugs Moran Phil had on YouTube with that epic splatter reverse blue shell. And I really like the way that one looked, but I'd love to have it on a Fat Herbie. And what we would do is take this photo and we would look at it next to all the leather we have, and we pick the thing that is appropriate in terms of thickness and shape, but also has a pattern that's similar, because you're never going to get this pattern twice. And then we would make that wallet based on that photo. For hand stitch wallets, what size do you recommend? I tend to like the thicker side. I think LA, I'm kind of weird to ask. And I'll explain what I mean. We charge a lot more for hand stitching because it's a lot more work. It looks cool if you like the aesthetic of a thick thread. And for me, a thicker thread looks a little bit, it can look refined, but in generally speaking, I think it looks a little bit less refined. So if you look at this machine stitch Johnny the Fox, I think the precision there, and everything like about it, like stitches per inch, smaller thread that sort of blend into the leather, I think are lend towards a more refined appearance. And that's just, there's nothing wrong or right about either, but it's just more about your personal taste. So I would say if you're going to go hand stitching, go all the way, go thick. We have a couple size hand stitching threads here. I'd say if you're going to do it, go thick. And I think, because you already like that too, that makes sense. All right. Oh yeah, Jeff D's pointing out a good thing. We take payment in advance for custom orders. And what that does is it reserves the leather for you. So that means nobody else will be able to take it. So we take the payment up front. And then the trade-off is when you get that wallet and if you don't use it and you just don't love it, we can take that back for a refund minus the custom fee. So that's sort of the trade-off there. But yeah, Jeff D says, I think it's important to note that custom orders require full payment up front, even though the product won't arrive in 4 to 7 weeks. Not knocking your policy, was a surprise the first time. Yeah. I'm not trying to like surprise people with that. But yeah, it really is. It's more to like, because we used to do it not the way we currently do it, and people would back out. And then we'd have this custom made piece that had no home. And it was like really problematic, as you could imagine. Spend all this work, use all this special leather, and then can't sell it. So yeah, we take payment up front, but it's still slightly less risky, because we will refund it for you if you don't use it and you send it back to us. So there's that. I've got still got a few hours of work here. I'm going to get back to polishing up some leather goods. I'm going to do some personalization and start packing stuff to ship tomorrow. But I really appreciate you guys being here. And man, 10,000 subs a couple of years ago when we started this, I didn't think that would be a thing. I'm lucky to have, 40 something people here right now. We're pretty lucky to have that. So very thankful for you guys. Really appreciate you being here. Thank you, New Bar. 10K subs. Let's go, lads. Love it. All right, I'm going to call some people out here. Olympic Marmot, Doug, Name, New Bar, Jeff D, LA, Ben D, Eric, Jesse. Who else is here? Chinese Mass Production, great name. Sherman Tan, King of the Cluj, D2 Rough. Don't forget to email me, D2. Todd Ledford, Chris Sipes, Andres, Floyd. Oh my God, thank you guys so much. Omar's here. Oh my God, if you're here, say hi, please. I would love to thank you personally. I appreciate you guys very much. We got, is this timer stopped? We got 1 minute left here before I go. Again, just to recap, there's some special private stock stuff. There's some not private stock stuff that I wanted to point out too. The passport holders in English Tan, I think, are turning out really, really well right now. So if you need a passport holder, we have more of these than we normally do. The small zips are back, but I think there's only like 3 or 4 of these left, I think. You can pick up one of those. And then some of the private stock stuff, I'll just repeat it again. That amaretto fox with English Tan on the inside, the cigar fox with brown on the inside. There's some special pieces up there right now that I just really wanted to highlight. And then if you're looking for the best deal. It's a black shell with reverse interior. That's it. All right. Appreciate you guys. Oh, Matt's here. Oh, good to see you, Matt. Best wishes to you too. I'm dropping things. It's a great way to end it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Shelvage is here. Oh my God, man. Good to see you. We got to chat. All right. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day.